Man, y'all already know what time it is. You are now tuned in with your guys, Joe T.
D. Johns.
And this is two grown men having a conversation. And man, we back at it. And you know, how you feeling?
I feel identical to the last episode.
We literally just did it.
Keep it honest. Keep it honest, man. I don't know if it's going to come out sequentially, but if we wearing the same thing, mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business, man. We actually doing what we said in the last one right now. We got right to it.
Action.
Yeah, and actually, I'm glad, we ain't got to, what I'm saying? A lot of times, y'all, social media done created a lot of attention deficit, so sometimes the introduction will be asking, we might miss a couple of y'all, but you can always fast forward and get straight to the meat.
Straight to it.
You can be like, I don't want to hear the intro. Don't just cut out the whole thing.
Don't do that.
Just go ahead and fast forward to 10 minutes, because right now we're going to probably talk about you.
And it's chapter markers in there, so you can just tap the thing.
Yeah. He probably threw some of y'all off, because I know a lot of people ain't social media savvy. I ain't talking about you, but, have you ever seen the videos on TikTok where people set their phones up, it's running, then they run back so they can they don't hit the timer. They don't know you can set a timer, set the phone, get back, and then you already. So a lot of people don't know they can do that.
Etiquette. Etiquette is missing. But no, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, at the bottom of the screen, that's your viewing area, that looks like dashes. Those dashes represent segments. So the first one is always the intro. So if you don't want to hear the intro, just slide to the next segment. Just like that,
man.
The more you know.
Yeah. We've been getting these topics together, and abusive relationships. I want to start this one talking about men who may not even know or want to admit that they are in an abusive relationship because of your pride or your ego or what you being a man. You might feel like you can't be abused and not even understand, that's a form of abuse.
Yeah, it can happen to you.
It can happen. It's happened to me.
If you doubt it, it might be happening to you.
I actually had a woman tell me, because when I wrote my fifth book, At War With Myself.
It's like sex.
It was a relationship that I was in for 2 years that I'm very detailed and transparent about things. I'm just telling the story. I never kind of broke down the way this person did. And I think they was in the psychology field somewhere, medical field, whatever it was. But they had read the book. And the woman messaged me and she was like, you were being abused. And when she said that, my first response was, ain't no way. Who?
Oh, man.
Ain't nobody abused me.
And I'm a thug. First off.
What? Did you read The Life of Boo Baker? That was a plug. But in that, bro, I was like, where at? Which part?
Yeah.
And she gave me the sections to read.
So I'm already in my head about, are we gonna be simps at the end of this episode? Or it's already funny to me. It's not funny, but I just, no matter what we say, some men are still gonna feel like it can never happen to me. It's never happened to me. It won't happen to me. And y'all some suckers for having feelings and wanting certain feelings reciprocated in your relationship.
Yeah, I'm glad you broke it down that way, but that'll go over a lot of the men here too.
That's fine.
Because they're gonna say at the end of the day, ain't no woman abusing me.
Hit the replay.
Ain't no woman mistreating me.
Hit that replay if you missed something.
Yeah. I did. I went back and looked at it. And another thing she admitted, she was like, and this woman was very narcissistic. I was like, that was the first time, because this was years ago before, the word became very trendy. So when she said that, I actually in my head went back and looked at some things. One of the things I noticed about myself in that relationship, and I've peeped in 2 or 3 of them, I could be going somewhere and catch myself rushing to get back to the house to avoid the where you been. But when I look at it from their point on their side, it was go kick it with their friends, have a great time, go to the mall, have a great time. Ain't no rushing back. I wasn't, were you checking the mileage? You said you went to your mileage, so so from there to back, you know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't move that way. I'm not thinking in my head that was something that had been instilled, had got into my, and it was controlling.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
That's a form, that's abuse right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scared when I pull up, in a sense. And in my head, I'm thinking as a man, I'm just trying to avoid it. But no, you submitted over to, it started to change you.
How long did you stay in it?
2 years.
So I have always run from those tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I saw them early,
Mm-hmm.
pew,
Yeah.
I am gone. Number one, I had heartbreak. Let's see, we go with the Simpsons.
Come on with me.
I had heartbreak early,
Mm-hmm.
and my phase after that was never again.
Mm.
So while it was a protective wall for me,
Mm-hmm.
it kept me from some situations,
Mm-hmm.
and it ruined other situations. Like I know for a fact that there were a couple of women that I wronged. I won't say I was abusive. I wasn't open.
Mm.
And be very clear, never physically.
Mm-hmm.
Never physically, never. I don't know if there's a woman alive that can tell you I called her out her name to her face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say it around my partners, that might be something different.
Mm-hmm.
But just I never really been like that person.
Mm-hmm.
But having that wall up, you almost couldn't get me to a place to abuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call me like, where you at?
Mm-hmm.
I would hear it in a certain way, whether you meant it that way or not.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at? What?
Mm. Yeah, that's real.
And it like click up, and it was that easy to. You don't exist to me anymore.
Let's stay right there. Do you think they come from having a father figure, or just in
my dad?
just,
I can't even put that on my pops.
Just in you. It was just in you.
Yeah, my 17 to 37.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put none of that on my pops.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
Can't smut his name like that.
Yeah.
And well, here's the other piece of it.
No, I'm saying to stand up like that, to recognize.
Well, I never saw it in the house. It was never.
Got you.
I never saw it in the house. And what I was about to say, we never had conversations about.
Okay.
That anyway.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have known if he was a player or like.
Okay.
I wouldn't have known. Period. But now so I guess the extreme. We talk about two extremes. One with the guard down, being in a relationship, and kind of being all in on it and dealing with it, and me not even getting to the relationship. So like I said, I know I've missed out on opportunities.
Well, I'm gonna have to jump out the window with you on this one, because I gotta ask, because for one, I desire it. You've been married how long?
20.
I'm gonna make up a term, because I also know marriage is work. On either end, have y'all ever had to correct, I guess, what we could call some marital abuse? And because you change, you have to adjust. You have to learn how to communicate different. Sometimes it take longer for the adjustment to happen. The other person can view it a certain way. Going through it and making the adjustment, how does that look for people who not knowing that marriages are work, relationships are work, getting to the marriage, like yeah,
and marriage is different from a wedding, real different. So I would say abusive in a sense that I knew how to push buttons to make my wife feel a certain way.
Okay.
And again, it was never like hands on or yelling. That was never our thing. If anything got to yelling, one of us leaving.
Okay.
Like getting out the space, and that's just not.
Note that.
That's just not who we are, because she didn't see that in her house and I didn't see that in my house. So it was nothing to bring. That's not a new thing we wanted to bring.
When you say that, is it like when it's about to happen, y'all both like, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there? Is it said, or is it just like, you know what, you yelling, I'm gonna go on?
I can't say 100% of the times there was a civil conversation about it, but it's like yelling always catches me off guard because when I hear yelling, I think somebody about to fight or shoot. And my mind goes there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you want to fight? Or you just like, is that what we like? Do you yelling to me as an escalator to another thing?
Gotcha.
Because yelling for the sake of yelling is never attractive to me.
Okay.
Like it's going to go
real.
somewhere. And because it's my wife, it's not even a point of even going down that path for it to go anywhere. So it might be one of them.
Gotcha.
For auto, I made a face and just kind of peeled out. Or my wife has done the same thing, like getting out of that space. But it never, I don't think it's ever gone to a place where it's like, I don't care what's happening to you if you left.
Mm-hmm.
It like, let me know you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get that we ain't in a good place right now, but we still got responsibility to each other to
right.
Fine. And it was never a thought of, I don't know if she's coming back or I don't know if he's coming back.
Right.
It was, if things got escalated really quick, somebody need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, if I knew a certain action would drive my wife, and that's what I was trying to do, I would consider that abusive.
Yeah.
When you're using it to manipulate, and like I'm not saying to be proud of it, but it's like I know and it can be something as simple as she's trying to have a conversation that I'm already over in my mind, and I'm just like, all right, you got it, cool. Like I was that guy, and then if you want to have a silence battle, you can't see me.
King Petty.
You cannot see me.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking to you right now.
No, yeah.
Rest of the pod and let the dead air play on the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
Let the dead air play like
yeah.
I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
But some like I'm saying that because some people might be like, man, that's regular. No,
it's a form of abuse.
Yeah.
It's a form of abuse. It can affect let's try to explain abuse. Some people don't even probably know what it is.
We can go to the
if you doing something, if I had to give my opinion, if you doing something that's hurt somebody's feelings intentionally, indirectly, that's abuse. You kind of aware of what you're doing. Like you said, you started with, I knew how to push certain buttons. That's abuse. As a man, I've done that. I knew there's certain things I can say. It's a way I can say it. It's a way I can be nonchalant. I could be petty. I could be, those are not, that's being immature in a time when you should try to communicate. You should communicate how you feeling or what's going on in a more mature way. But you chose to,
So the definition is, we'll add some journalistic value to this conversation. Okay. Use something to bad effect or for a bad purpose. Misuse.
Use something for a bad effect or a bad purpose.
Yeah.
Misuse.
Yep.
Have you ever done something in a relationship for a bad effect or misuse for purpose?
With that intent, yeah.
Yeah, with that intent. Have you ever did that? Or not realize it was being done to you, man, and not realize that was abuse? It was a woman I was dealing with that was all of her relationships before me were very toxic. Going back to the yelling, cussing, screaming. I remember I went viral on TikTok one time, bro, for saying, I brought up the love languages, and I said some women's love language is abuse. Physical or mental or emotional abuse. And I took a lot of backlash on it. It was one of the videos, it's probably been 3 or 4 videos I've deleted because I was like, I'm going to go ahead and y'all got that one. This was one of them. Because the women were basically saying I was encouraging, saying it was okay for women to put their hands on men or a man putting their hands on a woman. And that's not what I said. But there has been women, men too, but I'm speaking from my experience.
Yeah.
all of her relationships escalated to that point. So over time, I started realizing she thinks I don't care unless I yell back. Me chilling, not engaging, because to her, when somebody did that, it was he still care or he still here. Or if I'm like sitting down, like if I ain't yelling back or going to that level or getting ready to throw something, that's over time when she brought that up in the book. She was like, a lot of time when you explain heated situations, it seemed like it come from her wanting that response. And parts of her was trying to read if she still had you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not knowing. And a lot of times, over time, I was giving in to that. It was transforming, and it was a form of abuse because she was feeding something. She was able to, after, say, we good, going into make up good do it. That's what I call it, good do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I call it good do it.
Good do it. That's hilarious.
Having to make up good do it, because that's different too. She's also selfishly eating that up in abuse. From that situation to this, it was all feeding her abusing me.
So that's interesting that you said that. Two things came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with this one, I'll say girl, because at the time it was like 18, 19,
Mm-hmm.
20. I get my math right because people I think about 20. Anyhow, she was from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that wasn't set up. I had an affinity for women from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, she was used to aggressive conversations because that's how, and I'm not even talking about abuse. I'm just talking about like women, some New Yorkers,
Mm-hmm.
women and men are aggressive. And they have escalated tones and aggressive words in their conversation, and I can never get with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of why we never went anywhere. Like she would be on one, in my opinion, and I'm taking it as disrespect, and she's communicating how she's used to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
That one ended when she called and hung up on my mama.
Mm.
So that's what age I was in. So I had to be probably 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Still at my parents' house, but she called, and my mom answered the phone, said something. She said something, fly, hung up on my mama. But that's what she was used to. One example. The other one is more extreme and along the lines of what you're talking about. I met, I call her my sister now through podcasting, and she came on the platform. In March, I would do a women's series. It's Dear Son, but I would do a series about women and their relationships with their fathers because I thought that was important. And I had no clue how the conversation was going to go. I just knew we were cool. So we sat down and started talking, and she was telling me about how abuse was such a regular thing in her house between her mom and her, I want to say it was her boy, they weren't her father, it was her mom and her mom's either boyfriend or her mom's husband, not her biological father. It was so normal that they would come to blows, and she's explaining to me this like I'm talking right now. It's like, yeah, I would see them like
It's normal.
She's like they argue and then they go into, like they come to blows, and my mama could throw.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be little stuff like that where you thinking like kind of makes it jovial, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Dude ended up unaliving her mom.
Mm.
She carried the conversation forward about now she has trouble. Well, at the time, she was having trouble in relationships because she thought that's how to solve things is to put her hands on her man, because that's what.
Yeah. Commercial break me, please. Yeah, the best thing to do is walk away. You know what I'm saying? When it gets to the point of you feel like you feel like you're about to put your hands on somebody, that it's probably best to go ahead and just sever that tie. Because if you got to a point where the argument was that heated for whatever the disagreement was or whatever caused it, and you were that close to putting your hands on, that's probably gonna circle back around again. You're gonna inch closer and closer to it. And we are most definitely in a generation where a lot of these videos be going viral, and it be men who are unaliving women.
Yeah.
And
boxing, beating.
Yeah. A lot of these men, a lot of them, because I'm saying in the context of this conversation, it could be several different things, but a lot of them have been being abused.
Yeah.
and they just got and just done had a mental.
So for the men that would just hit me about the woman I was telling you about, I would imagine that if a man grows up in a household where he sees that as the way a woman is treated, not only is that abuse to the woman, that's abuse to that child that grows up and continues that cycle.
True. Uh, and it depends on how that child receives her. Me, I grew up in that. My mama and my sister's dad, man, listen to me. Man, they fought like wrestlers in there. I'm talking about we could wake up and it'd be holes in the walls. I'm talking about,
That's exactly how she was telling the story.
yeah, black eyes.
Exactly how she was telling the
Yeah,
story.
like it was crazy, and that had the reverse effect on me. I was like,
Never see.
I
Okay.
don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be that person. Like that's wild. Like to both were wrong. You know what I'm saying? With me, I'm gonna hold a man accountable first. You know what I'm saying? And as a woman, do not put your hands on a man thinking he's a man and he won't put his hands on you, or he shouldn't, because a lot of men do not think like that. Don't put yourself in the shoes of a man thinking you, and then he hits you and you looking like that. Don't. If you get to that point, just leap.
Yeah.
Don't. You know what I'm saying? Because it's nah. And then police got to get involved and all that old stuff.
And depending on what kind of family or circle you got around you,
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Just don't do that. A lot of these mental breaks. It's a lot of men. I will go out on a limb and say they dogs based on being abused. Pay attention to the music. Pay attention to things they say about women. They still don't want to admit it come from a place of being abused. When they talk about not trusting women and how women ain't this and how women ain't that, and probably one of the top ones on the list will be financial abuse.
Ooh.
There's a lot of men who get to a certain point after months or years and say to themselves, "You really was around for the money." Like, but you don't want to admit you bought her. You don't want to admit, you know what I'm saying, she was bad and you kind of paid your way to get there. But over time, her words, her finesse, all of those things, she most definitely, she milks you, my boy. She financially abused you, never really wanted you. You don't want to admit that, because the only thing you're going to be able to say is, well, I smashed her. Man, she abused you and your pockets. You can never get that money back.
It ain't tricking if you got it, but also it is.
Yeah.
But also it is.
Yeah.
There's only one girl that I was almost down that path, like ready to jump out the window. Her actions and my roommate at the time brought me to my senses. Like I was gone. I was gone, like ready to do whatever for her. And the whole time she was, I was part of her roster. I ain't know it.
Yeah, you ain't know it.
I did not know it.
Yeah.
I did not know it. And that was the thing is, after when I told you I got heartbreak early, that was the first one I was starting to let the guard down. Like, okay. I ain't gonna say her name.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say her name. But yeah, she reminded me.
Yeah.
She reminded me. And that's the thing that concerns me about like my sons. Well, my children period. So three daughters, 2 sons. My 2 oldest are daughters, they're adults. My son is graduating high school, so he'll be an adult this summer. He'll be of age, adult age, legal age this summer. And then I have 2 young ones. And all of what's programmed into them, or what could be through music, and I know y'all hate it, but that is the recurring thing. Like you can't, TikTok, whether you're listening, pulling up the album, or you just listen on TikTok, like the music is fed. So even when it's a cute video and the song is off, but because it's the cute video and the cute dance, it's drilled into their mind about, and it could be about a woman's value, about what a woman will and should do or won't do, or what a man to make a woman do, like all of that stuff is kind of drilled into their mind. And when I tell my older son, it's like you the only thing that's going to come out of your mind in a situation is what's been put in there. So when you get alone with a woman,
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What is she thinking?
What? Yeah.
Like, you gotta be aware of that, because these days she might be putting more pressure on you
And then
than you ready for.
she might like Sexy Red. You know, she might be listening to Glorilla. She might be listening to all the women who ain't living what they saying.
Right.
You know, and going into, porn. Women watch porn too. There's a lot of women. You can be abused sexually too. Because people's expectations of what they watch, and putting them expectations on you, you become a toy in people's mind, and you ain't even enjoying it. You just, like, you could be getting abused, bro. Like I'm telling you, people don't think about stuff like this. I've been with women where I've been like, what is going on there? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, you're abusing me.
Why are you doing this? It's programmed.
And they'll keep doing it to try to bring you in to their world, man. And you not even, I don't know, man. But emotional abuse too.
Yeah.
Emotional abuse to me is the worst, because you don't put your hands on nobody. This is just
Please.
something I'm finna try to make sense. You can heal from somebody putting their hands on you quicker than you can somebody emotionally, mentally abusing you. It'll take years to restore this.
Yeah.
To come back to yourself, your confidence, your being adequate and competent, and
understanding your worth and all of that. Yeah.
Understanding your worth. I remember I was locked up, and I had a cell phone at the time, and I was talking to this girl back home, and she had told me about this dude. I had to say her name, but you know who you are. She had 3 kids, I think 2 by him.
Mm-hmm.
She had gained a little weight. Still looked good though. To me, it filled out. But he used that to torment this. You got 3 kids. Ain't nobody finna want you after me. And then she had got a little cellulite a little bit. He used to bring that up specifically. But that was after she would confide in, I want to do something to, because I don't like this. It's cool, but I just don't. I want it gone.
Mm-hmm.
But he turned around and weaponized that, compounded. Everybody want, you got 3 kids, that cellulite, boom. And she used to tell me,
give me them lines.
Huh?
Give me them lines.
And then look,
I ain't mad at you.
She would tell me, being with other guys, like not wanting to take her clothes off with the lights on, or, worried about once she had to mention she had 3 kids. Like, it really seared her mind.
Yeah.
I've had somebody, I didn't know, when it comes to something like that, like turn down my confidence, I've experienced it. I don't want to say when, but I experienced somebody telling me, ain't nobody gonna love me the way, ain't nobody gonna love you the way I do. Ain't nobody gonna care about you the way I do. Ain't nobody gonna understand you the way and I'm not, even those things can be not only abusive, but narcissistic.
Yeah.
Because they can get me questioning. Did they? Starting over. It had me questioning things. Not knowing that's a form of emotional abuse.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women do that. Women can, going back to, just because you think you a man, they won't have you second guessing certain things about yourself. Even when it comes to your confidence, when it comes to your drive and purpose. I've had, before everything took off, I still got this message I hold on to. I screenshot it. And she said, I'll never date potential again.
Oh, you was potential.
Yeah. This is when I had stopped what I was doing.
Yeah.
When I met this person, because their security as a woman and stability coming from a man looked like a 9 to 5. I need to know where the money's coming from. So I was like, this was I'll go get that, but still try to juggle this. And it's a guy back home, man. He told me, sometimes in order for things to work, you got to have both feet in. And so what I wanted to do, I knew I needed to have both feet in. So I did the job for like 3 to 6 months. And then how we agreed to do the bills and stuff, it still wasn't going to get us here. It was always going to be then it was going to be a juggle because it just wasn't enough coming in for the vision to manifest of what I could see.
Yeah.
Man, I went to work one day, D. John. Went to the supervisor, said, "Hey, today gonna be my last day."
Look at here.
But in my head, I was like, I don't even know. Should I just keep going, act like I'm going to work and doing it? Like I was concerned about that. But I'm looking like you're getting purpose confused with potential. And sometimes if you ain't willing to bite that bullet, and I live by this today.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are being abused to the point of where you'll choose your person over God. Word. What he said, your friendships and relationship can affect your faith. Because faith, man, listen to me. Without the works is dead.
Yeah.
If somebody's emotionally abusing you and you don't recognize it, just pay attention to how they pour into you when you're talking about certain things. Because you could see something, they may not believe it to the extent you believe it. And because of your connection to that person, you may come down a little bit or not go hard. Because with my mama holds a lot of weight that she don't even understand. The abuse can come from a parent. She don't hold no bars. When I call and say something about my ideas, if my mama just said something like, "I like that, you should do it," I would feel like He-Man. She don't know to say that still to this day. Here you go with another idea, seeking the validation, which is what I spoke on the other day about. You can have Stockholm syndrome from your parents. Your parents can abuse you. Coming from a woman that only thinking about her lifestyle, how it's going to affect her, and not worried about you becoming your kingdom purpose, it'll stop you at times. I've had it with this girl, bro. Yeah. The girl I'm talking about, she said, when she said it, it kind of crushed me. It wasn't a year, D. John, after I left.
Pew.
2 years after it happened, I'm laying down. I had moved out here, and I didn't like sleeping in my bedroom, so I would take the mattress and I would put it in the living room floor, and I would watch TV. I don't know why I felt more comfortable. And my phone rang one night about 1:30. I looked over and seen her name on the call ID box. I said, "What's she calling me for?" I said, "I can't wait to answer this. Let me see what's going on." I said, "Hello." I said, "You good?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I just wanted to call you, see how you was doing. Looked like everything going good for you." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Everything on the up and up, you know." And she said, "I've been blocked you. I've been, off of your social media. But at this point, I can't avoid not seeing you because I'm my friends and family members." And, you know what I'm saying? She was like, "So I did unblocking. I see what you got going on." And I said, "Yeah, everything I said I was going to do." Right then. And then she asked me, "When the last time you been home?" I said, "I don't really come home." I said, ain't nothing down there for me to, you know what I'm saying? I don't even miss home." She said, "You don't miss nothing?" Nah. If I want
set up nothing.
And that's exactly where she went. She said, "Not even me." I hadn't talked to this person in over 2 years. This is the same person that said, "I will never date potential."
Yeah.
Again, it was abuse. I could have easily said, "I'm going to hold off on that. I ain't going to keep. On paper, it would have looked nice, though. We would have had the house. We would have, probably had another child. It would have looked like, man, he done 10 years. He came home. He got a job. He got a good woman. They stay out of the way. It wouldn't have been what he wanted. It was abuse.
You heard what you said.
What was that?
So had another child?
I would have had another child.
Oh, okay.
I possibly. Nah.
Okay,
I'm saying,
I
I only got one, my daughter. But yeah, that was.
Nah, never mind. I thought you was referencing her child's mother.
Oh, no. Oh, no, not this time. I slipped up on the first one.
We had
I slipped up on the first one. Nah. But yeah, that was abuse. I can only identify this now, looking back at certain things that, as a man, I didn't look at it as abuse.
Yeah. So your examples have been a little bit more extreme than mine. But when I think about the girl that I was ready to crash out for, She always used to say stuff. Cause I was about 240
Yeah.
when I was dealing with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should get a job at a warehouse.
Mm.
So you lift stuff all day. You be buff.
Okay. Abuse. That's abuse.
I ain't like that.
Exactly.
I ain't like that.
I've had one before because I can still kind of grow my hair just a certain spot. I said, you should grow your hair out. It make me. What you trying to say? You trying to say I ain't as handsome with the bald? Like what you trying to say? and that's already an insecurity.
Yeah.
It's abuse. If I said to her, you don't gain a little weight, I'll hell break loose.
Yeah.
That's
which would be applicable, from what I understand, would be applicable to this person.
Yeah.
How the tables have turned. How the tables have turned.
Yeah, man. I do, because for the men who watching this, can you drop in the comment sections, ways that you will, if you're willing to acknowledge it, you've been abused, things that has been said that was a form of abuse, or your homeboys from a distance, because your homeboys talk about their relationships, like things that you done told them, like, bro, like, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Because men need to understand, going back to what we was talking about, it's okay to be transparent. It's okay to be, sometimes you gotta swallow your pride and your ego, and not and try not to stay in a space of, I seen a video the other day, might have been last night, where it was a dude, like, he was talking crazy to this dude. And in them situations, I was watching him walk away. You know what I'm saying? But then pride and ego kick in. Ain't nobody gonna do that to me. It could turn into a body that fast when you talk to me like that. There's a lot of men who won't admit you've become that way based on how maybe a woman treated the situation, talked to you. You might have walked away, but that what you embodied about women as a whole came from an experience. And if you feel that way, you was abused. In my mind, that man that decided he wanted to retaliate, he felt abused. He felt violated. He felt disrespected. So your lack of trust and lack of whatever, you know what I'm saying, can come from an experience of someone who abused you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you don't want to, like, typically a man is not going to run to get help for that. They'll either try to, if they talk about it at all, right, they might talk about it in a circle that reinforces the stereotype of women ain't ish. Bump them, you don't need them. And then the more you reinforce that thought, the more it becomes natural to believe. That's why what you consume matters.
Yeah.
There's a post that I made that said, what your mind consumes, your character assumes. The more you put that in you, the more you believe it. And the easier it becomes to live life that way. Especially if you stay around, if you're around a bunch of people that feel the same way, that are as comfortable in their ignorance as you are. That's like what they say, the principle of the six. If you hang around 5 people that are whatever, you'll be the 6.
Yeah, they'll change you before you change them. Yeah.
Hang around 5 millionaires, be the 6. Hang around 5 engineers, you'll be the 6, that kind of thing.
It's a lot of men women, I've been around people, guys who they women call them out their name, the B word. It's become a sense of norm. Go ahead.
No, that triggers me, because the fact that I wouldn't call a woman that.
Yeah.
When I hear women say that, like, I don't even like women calling women.
Me neither.
I don't have no place. I don't have no place to tell y'all what words to use for y'all. I get it.
It's wrong.
Slalom.
I'm gonna correct you. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. You can't come around my roof or where I'm at with my woman, you her homegirl or not, and be like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna tell you, hey, you know, and she might correct me and be like, I'm gonna be like, not around me. Yeah. But yeah.
so the fact that I don't tolerate that to whatever extent that I can control it. When I hear a woman doing that to a man, like, it's to emasculate.
Yeah.
It's to evoke an emotion.
Yeah.
And that's something, like, even, you got a conversation with my daughter, is like, don't provoke it's never right for a man to put his hands on you. And I think you said that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But there are points of provoking that go beyond a man's toleration,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for some, you become something other than a woman,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're okay with treating a woman that way, but don't provoke your way into a situation that's gonna go bad for both of y'all.
Now for real, man. Don't let your emotions put you in a predicament. Sometimes people excuse this too. You know, in situations where people get angry, a lot of people say stuff that they mean or
Comes out.
been wanting to say when they angry.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. And so,
That's real.
man, it ain't that I was mad. I didn't. Yeah, you did. You've been waiting to say it.
Yeah.
How articulate you were when you said it.
It was already formed.
It was already formed. So when they get to talking, when they finally say something about not being pleased sexually, talking about the size of the middle of your body, talking about certain things that about your anything, you know what I'm saying? That's abuse. I don't care that you was mad. That and I'm just talking about women abusing men. But I know there's women gonna say, well, men do it too.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's certain things you can't take back when you say them.
None of it.
It's you could none of it. We're gonna stay right there. None of it.
You can call it out that you didn't. That you shouldn't have said that.
Right.
It's out there.
It's out there. It's out there, man. And people, a lot of people talking about forming trust issues, and like if people are cheating. When you throw stuff out there, it can create that same thing. It's so much I have to readjust in my mind to get you, because certain things you say now, that never went away. And we, as a people, humans, we know we highlight negativity over the positive. We could have had 1,000 great memories. You could say one thing it will not outweigh. Yeah. That one negative is what? Like, that's how you been feeling? Like, that's what you thought of me? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You really do?
Yeah. As a man, I want to ways I've been abusive. The number one would be, you know what I'm saying, knowing ways to push buttons.
Sure.
I don't believe I've ever tried to I've never tried to make a woman feel less adored or beautiful, or I've never used those tactics to try to like confidence and stuff like that. Yeah. Like that, I ain't never been that abusive. It ain't a woman who could say I put my hands on them. Yeah. Like the B word, I don't play about that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a woman right now. If it is, my child's mother can. When we were kids, we were on the bus one day. We were playing She Smacked Me, and I apologize right then and there. Other than that, I look you dead in your face and say, I guarantee you ain't a woman that come out and say none of that about me. I can be vicious with my mouth and way I say things.
Cut.
Yeah. I can articulate some things that I know I'm trying to penetrate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been that dude. I'm better. I ain't saying that I wouldn't today.
Right.
I can't say, you know, there's a lot of residue of a lot of things. And just like saying, I don't know if I wouldn't go across somebody's face to this day. I don't want to. I'm not that person. But situation, moment presents
case by case.
I don't know what I would do, but I don't want to abuse nobody mentally, physically, spiritually, in no shape, form, or fashion. Spiritual abuse is a thing too. And I don't want nobody to do it to me. I do know it's impossible to live amongst just being healed around healed people. I don't want that, man. I want peace and harmony. You know, if you get to the mat, if you get angry and be woman or man enough to be like, bro, I don't want this, or babe, let's come back to this. You know what I'm saying? Before something be said that it's never going away. Cause I hold grudges too. I ain't even gonna sit here and hold you.
Boy.
Yeah, they sit, and Lord forgive me, help me get better with it. But I can hold a grudge.
Yeah. 98.
Yeah. I can hold a grudge, man. Yeah, and I'm on unapologetically when I say this. If I hold a grudge, you most definitely wrong me because I'm not a person that I feel is just created. If I'm holding a grudge, you done something. But yeah, man, I want to talk about that abuse. It's a lot of men in situations that not realizing you being abused. And you need therapy because all women are not the same.
Yeah, some of y'all need to leave.
Some of y'all should have been
Leave, bro.
yeah, get out.
That's the new campaign. Leave, bro.
Leave, bro. We should have had a shirt.
Leave, bro.
Leave, bro. But yeah, man. And then and when you do leave, take some time to yourself. Don't jump in the next thing because most people who do that become the abuser. You start trying to control people the way you were being controlled and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Certain things you say, certain things you do, you realize they worked on you and now you're trying, and that's how spirits transfer.
When you leave, typically you're carrying part of the problem with you.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily leaving all of the problem.
Yep.
So I feel you on that.
But yeah, I'm good.
Leave, bro.
Yeah, leave, bro. It's two grown men having a conversation. And listen here, man, you could be being abused.